Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Superstars of Wrestling review for June 4th, 1994. And we continue our foray into the Superstar stuff. Got about 219, 20 of these, something like that. Anyway, June 4th, 1994. First time seeing this through. And we open with a recap of last week. The miscue between Adam Bomb and Quang, both managed by Harvey Whippleman. Bomb's babyface turn pretty much a big deal, and they kind of are doing some hype for upcoming stuff. They are also hyping the Hall of Fame induction, first time with Chief Jay Strongbow in there. Of course, I was on one event with Chief Jay Strongbow back when Chief Jay still did independence, maybe a couple times a year in the late 90s. Buddy Rogers also highlighted. Wish there was more Buddy Rogers footage out there. Would really love to see Buddy in his glory. But I have a interesting uh, level of interest in things like the history of wrestling television era on up through the mid 90s when wrestling, at least in my opinion, stopped being worth watching. Then we see I guess, a new member or the newest member of the um, Million Dollar Corporation, Nikita Volkov coming back, property of the Million Dollar Man, with a cent sign on his tights in black and gold. Volkov, of course, having been in the WWF, this is the third time through, I believe, having been there in the 70s, then coming back in the early 80s, then maybe fourth time through, coming back in the mid 80s for his WWF Tag Team Championship run with the Iron Sheik. DiBiase sitting at ringside, looking rather unimpressed. And then, of course, hip tosses, punch kick. Nikolai wasn't going to do anything major in terms of athletics here in the mid 90s, but you know, enhancement talent gets a little bit of a rub here, and ultimately kind of tries to get some go behinds. DiBiase is happy and manages to get the Volkov manages to get the win. Then we move to another in the enhancement match run there. Adam Bomb um, coming out and making a big deal out of his run. Quang is here as well. Quang and Adam Bomb basically fighting because of the miscue between the two of them the previous week. Of course, Quang later revealed to be Savio Vega, aka TNT, out of Puerto Rico. Quang fighting back on Adam Bomb pretty persistently here. Takedowns by Quang and trying to get things going in accordance with um, the value there. And they brawl on the outside. Quang sends his man into the steel steps and ultimately a basic thing. Chops and punches and kicks by Quang. Quang trying to do everything he can to get Adam Bomb down. They basically managed to have a okay match for the time. Quang heads to the outside. Adam Bomb gets the victory modified by countout because Quang basically runs away. Pretty sure they did a house show program at the time around the horn between the two, at least for a little while. Reno Riggins, great enhancement talent, facing off against Tatanka. Tatanka still coming off of his undefeated streak, of course, turning in a couple of months in August of '94 to join the Million Dollar Corporation, but still doing the babyface thing here. Does not have the red hair anymore. Punch kicks and chops, and a couple of Japanese arm drags and a hip toss by Tatanka. Tatanka still in good shape at the time. To think that he had a almost year and a half, a little less than 2 year run undefeated in the WWF on television really speaks to how Vince saw him, and they probably thought there was a bigger value to a Native American than there might have been in the early 90s. Anyway, Tatanka does the war dance type thing, bunches of chops and the Samoan drop. Todd Pettengill brings us the King of the Ring tournament hype, and Cornette promises that every one of the head shrinkers will have shrunken heads by the time that Yokozuna and Crush are done with them for the tag team titles. Roddy Piper basically says he wants to fight, doesn't really care what he has to do to get it, and ultimately The King of the Ring tournament is talked about. IRS and Mabel, Razor and Bam Bam, Double J and 123 Kid and Owen Hart, and whoever is next in his run. Tatanka and Crush will face off in a King of the Ring qualifying lumberjack match there. Then Owen Hart makes his way up and about. Owen Hart, of course, in the middle of his heel run, 94, 95. Owen, classic heel. Love his stuff at the time. Owen Hart at the time is great. Has an enhancement match here, and obviously people chanting for the 1-2-3 Kid. One of my favorite short matches under 5 minutes to this day, is the 1-2-3 Kid Owen Hart match from King of the Ring 1994. I think they go about, give or take, about 4 minutes, but it's the quickest 4 minutes you'll ever see, especially for that time period. Worth going out of your way to see if you're a younger fan and never seen that particular match before. Available on Peacock, obviously. So enhancement talent gets a hip toss takeover, and Owen gets the kick to the midsection, locks in the sharpshooter, gets the win, and obviously that's going forward. A face-off between Bret Hart and Diesel on Raw leads to a brawl between the two. Short Heartbreak Hotel, which is Shawn Michaels' interview segment, basically is here, and Shawn basically promises that Diesel's going to win in a couple of weeks, King of the Ring, and obviously that doesn't happen. Diesel winning the belt doesn't happen until November. I do wonder if they actually had considered him winning the belt all the way back as far as June for him to be put in the position or not. The Quebecers, Pierre and Jacques, otherwise known as not the Mounties at the time, are here. Enhancement match for them. Double hot shot across the top rope, cannonball, and of course they get the victory. Managed by Johnny Polo, a.k.a. the man who becomes Raven later on down the road. Then they do some, D-Day challenge, and with a tug of war with WWF superstars and military superstars. The Head Shrinkers are out here, and they are your tag team champions. They again are basically being hyped as a big deal. Alpha is with them, of the original Samoans. Also, Captain Lou Albano is part of their entourage, at least to King of the Ring, and had been around the time as well. But that's kind of there, and so we will ultimately be back with more right after this.